Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. With the orientation of the screen, you can probably pick out that this is the Intercontinental Group of Awesome. So named because we play awesome games, we're awesome friends, and we're located on a couple different continents. We find Sundays, afternoons for me, evenings for my friends in Europe, and we play some RPGs. We are on session 23 of Spire, The City Must Fall, a game from Rowan Rook and Deckard that is deeper than most indie games that I play because it feels like we still got some wind in the sails here. Had a very interesting game a couple weeks ago. Sorry for anyone that was waiting for this session last week, but we are picking things back up and we've gained our yawn back. So that's awesome. So the GM is Tyler. And so now, Tyler, let me hand the baton up to you.
Thank you very much. Hi there, I'm Tyler. He, him pronouns. And yes, we are playing Spire by Grant Howitt and Christopher Taylor. And we're so deep in, as Rich says, that I won't even try and do a huge recap. Folks should just watch it. But we had a mission last time to save a cell that had been compromised by a mole. And we found out some more disturbing things about the Steries, and they're trying to take over Spire, and more little hooks into people's personal stuff. We know that Fenara's business has been sort of used for their purposes. We found out that Aramit's chapel with Yvette help, being there to take it over during his absence, has been receiving charity money from the Royal Benevolent Society, which is a front of the Steries. We found out about the attempt by the Steries to create a shadow ministry and eliminate the ministry that our group is. And that's a little disturbing. And some cells have been kind of eliminated due to their actions. They have been doing that worst of all things, sicking the Alfir, sicking the Paladins, sicking the big enemies onto them. And we managed to grab a few slivers out of the mole once he had ceased to be living, and have taken those back and then dumped his body down a sewer where some ratty gutterkins have taken it off to do, who knows what with. And we also, like I say, managed to save that cell. They were going to give a warning to their magister, but we may hear a little bit more out of them, at least some of them, in the future. But for now, we're going to introduce our characters and get started and maybe find out what one of them was doing during that time when we didn't see them. So let's just take it straight down the old character keeper. Jan, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hi, my name is Jan, he and pronouns. I'm from Belgium. I will be playing Zordin, the knight, who also uses he and pronouns. Zordin is a knight of the Kraken Bell Order, which is, named for the bard, the Kraken Bell. But recently he's been called upon by, actual deities to, go and find a saint. So now he has to do that.
That is awesome. Thank you very, very much. And next, Alex, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm located in Norway, and I use he, him. I am playing Gerald, the masked, who's the sneaky spy with complicated connections to who he is at any current moment. He is currently has no issues at all with his lover, Vizar. they are perfectly happy, and there's no passive aggressiveness at any time. Yeah, and yeah, he's a bit worried about this whole shadow ministry.
As well, he should be. Thank you very, very much. Well, we know you, but let's hear about that character, Rich.
Bet I am playing Armitz, the Lejan, or the priest. He is the priest of the Lady of Light, Limier, our moon goddess. He is seriously dating, betrothed. I don't know like how that works in this, but he's definitely together with Yvette Montesson, and the two of them are co-priests of a very modest chapel, but he's got bigger fish to fry right now because he is part of the ministry, and he's excited to figure out what's next with taking down the Staries.
Awesome. Yes, indeed. Having shacked up with Yvette there at the old chapel. That's lovely. All right. Next up, Jen, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hey there, I'm Jen. I use she, her pronouns. I'm in Colorado, and I am playing Fanar Alvry, who is the Azurite, aka the business dark elf, a trader, a mover, a shaker, a buyer, a seller, who has recently had some of her business kind of sort of soft hijacked for the use of the Staris, and I would like to make that have gone poorly for them.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you very much. And last but certainly not least, Sabine, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns. I'm playing Bizarre, who uses he or him or they pronouns. Bizarre is inksmith, means that he's a porter, writer, poet occasionally. He is the aforementioned significant other in the relationship with Gerald, and I will be happily confirm that there is no problem whatsoever. I don't know what everybody's talking about anyway. So yeah, last time I think I was doing something for Nara, and there was a ship involved. And also, yeah, there's not a story here. Come on, there are more interesting stories. I mean, that was basically boy meets spy, boy and spy fall in love. The end. Everything's perfect. See? Let me just look at that. I think last time did I put out that people, the fact that people believe that yes, I did. The fact that people believe that the, what is the name of them? Staries.
Duchess.
The Stari, no, that was the rumor. The rumor is that the other Duchess is considered for her rank in the thingy. No, I didn't set up the fact, but I was considering setting up the fact that the Staries are not religious at all, and that they don't care about gods anyway, and that all they care for is money and bodies and stuff like that, not the souls of the. That's my plan anyway, to do that. But I wanted to check that up with the others first.
Nice, interesting thought.
Hmm.
All right, thank you very much. And I just to say that in having watched Vizar and Gerald together, I'm sure it's lovely, even though there's a cold breeze that even an elf here would consider a vacation that has been blowing occasionally between them. We are going to hop over to you, Sorden, because we saw the others the previous couple of days, but when we last left Zordon, Lynette Grindel, the head of the Blind Serpent Knights, had come in and presented herself and had drawn out a sword that was very similar to yours to say, "I've come to fight." I think we'll start with us kind of in a back booth of the Kraken Bell as the two of you have large frothy mugs in front of you and a moment to talk, perhaps a little quieter though I will say she has a considerably booming voice, even when she's trying to be a little quieter.
Very well.
She says, Sir Zordon,
Mm-hmm.
my mistress says that you and I might find common cause.
Your mistress?
The mistress we share.
Right. Well, perhaps then we do.
So, what is it that you have in mind that would draw the eye of the Red Lady?
I have, well, I mean, first of all, there's of course a task that she and her sisters, counterparts, I'm not sure. Don't know how the genealogy works.
It's so complicated for me too.
But they have tasked me with a mission.
So, you're taking up a quest.
Yes.
I've been told that only fools and madmen take up quests.
I am both.
She smiles really big and sort of lets out a laugh, reaches over, takes a big gulp out of her mug. I like you, Zordon. You're not just a pretty face.
The scars, no, the pretty face is long gone.
Well, if my lady thinks that it is worthy for you to do this, then whatever I could do to help, I suppose, well, I'm willing, especially since she looks around the room. Looks like the Krakens are a little short on manpower, and truth be told, even my serpents have seen people pulled away by those fucking staries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a bit of an issue. Actually wanted to talk to the Duke about that.
I'm sure she's all up in arms. We don't see eye to eye most of the time.
Well, people have been saying that I've had good favor with the Duke, but I'm not sure.
Well, what is it you're tasked with doing, Sir Zordon?
I have to find Saint Beneferous.
You're serious?
I'm not laughing.
Well, I thought he's been dead for over 100 years.
Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I have to find a corpse. But from what they said, doesn't seem like it.
Any idea where to look for him? Last I heard, or at least the rumors say, he was just a sot.
Mm-hmm. Well, that might be true. From what I've found out so far, his last known location was in the Grail. Now, that pub might not mean anything to you because it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, then it isn't much of a lead, Zordon.
Well, it's been taken by the river.
Oh. Huh. So it's underwater.
Mm-hmm. Supposedly, he might still be there.
Well, that makes things a little more difficult.
You think?
As it turns out, though, I happen to have a friend. Maybe this was why Our Lady thought I could help you. He's a human tinkerer, makes all kinds of crazy bullshit. But one of his specialties is he's looking into all the things that live in the river. I can't imagine why. Most of them are absolutely disgusting, and I wouldn't eat half the things that get dredged up from there. And the other half, I wouldn't keep down.
Right.
But he's got some sort of metal ball. He goes out in the river and he sinks the metal ball down inside and, from a barge.
How does that help?
Well, you can look around under the water inside of the metal ball.
Wait, you get inside of a metal ball?
Yeah, I don't know how it works because it's got a big hole at the bottom. But the water doesn't come in.
Okay.
At least that's what he says. And he hadn't drowned yet.
Right. Well, I mean, I was already thinking probably having to check with some humans, but if you've got someone that's apparently doing something with metal balls to go underwater, then that's a good place to start.
Well, I've always said if you're going to try and go to the bottom of the river, you better have balls of metal.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if I'll be well equipped.
He sort of laughs. Says he's got one of those little expeditions that he's planning on doing tomorrow. My order tends to provide a little security. He tosses us a little bit of cash along the way, and if he finds anything shiny, then I get a pick of it. There's all kinds of shiny shit down at the bottom of the river.
I imagine that a lot of things have gone down. Yeah, I mean, plenty of ships that sink.
Not to mention rich merchant bodies who happen to get tossed in.
Fair.
If you'd like, I'll ask him to take you as a passenger. Can't promise anything, but at least it'll let you get an idea of what's down there.
And what do you want in return for that favor?
Well, obviously, our mistress' favor goes a long way, but if this quest of yours actually pans out, that's going to change things in the orders. And even if it doesn't pan out, it gives the orders something to kind of rally around.
That's what I was hoping.
Your crew looks to be half strength.
Mm-hmm. I've sent some people out to recruit and get some people, but it's not easy.
I hate to say it, but my own crew is down about that far. I'd propose maybe we form an alliance.
That is very rare.
These are unusual times.
Apparently, yeah.
My family, even though they don't claim me, has always had problems with the drowned kings. Hell, the Grendel were some of the ones who had boots on the back of their head in the river. So, seeing any of them rise, in the end, they'll hunt down any Grendel they could find.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see them rise.
Right.
A unified, or at least better supported order could stand in their way. I don't know how you feel about them, but I want to see them kicked in the teeth.
Well, I don't mind.
All right, well.
And here to think that you came in to kick in my teeth initially.
Oh, maybe one of these days, but No need for you to flirt with me now. And she slugs back the second half of her beer. Well, if we have an agreement, she gives you slides a piece of paper over. That's the dock slip for his barge. I'll be out there to meet with him. His name is Black Tom.
Black tongue. All right. Does he have a black tongue, or is it
Tom? Tom.
Tom. Okay. All right. Well, I will definitely come and find him and you.
All right, then. Nice place. I've never been in the Bell before.
It's a shithole.
Well,
like most of them are.
I'll tell my folks, though, that they'll be welcome to come and drink and get to know yours, and any of yours who'd like to come to the Serpent.
I'll have to spread the word a bit.
Understandable. So will I. Old suspicions and run deep. But, you know, a couple of noses get broken, a couple of legs get all skinned up, and we'll settle things out. I'm sure it'll be a friendly sort of thing. Eventually. She sticks out her, heavily gauntleted hand.
Yep. I'll shake it.
And she's got a very firm grip, and she says, who knows? Maybe this is the beginning of something that'll be, well, good for us all.
Hope so. We'll have to see.
She stands up and heads out as the rest of the Cracked Bell gives her a wary look and a kind of looking over towards you like, oh, what the hell?
And then it's like, well, I have to explain some things to you now.
All right. We're going to shift over, even though we're going to catch you up to time with them, but I'm going to do it gradually so that we just don't sit on one spot. We're going to come back to our main group together. Y'all have the slivers. You have the book that you were to collect from your mission that you took over for the other cell. And you have also received information at the Dropbox. I'm going to figure y'all kind of just went by it as you were returning with these things to whatever safe house. If y'all had gone back to that attic, that's fine too. But McCareth has asked to meet with you the following day. And she tells you she wants to meet in the Hanging Gardens. So the 5 of you, I believe, yes, considering Goliset, the 5 of you arrive back and have the book, have the slivers. Fanara, do you want to begin efforts to get in touch with the other cell? They had given you a spot you could leave a note with them.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So you take a quick run over there, leaving a note. Are you telling them to meet you somewhere or leave word there of where they feel safe being met? What do you think you're going to leave?
I think the more spy polite offer would be, use this drop to tell me where you feel safe meeting.
Okay. You drop that off, and so we're all together. I believe, Azar, you wanted to study those slivers.
I did, yes.
All right. And, everyone's there to observe or help as the case may be, looking in on it. Let's see. I think that's going to be an investigate naturally.
Yeah.
And
Plus, cult, I think, was the
I
last
believe
time, right?
so. Yes.
Okay. And I need to figure out where I hit the dice roller. There you go. Somewhere. Come here. Sorry.
It's quite all right.
So I'm rolling a d10 for investigate and one for occult. I don't know if conspiracies figures into this because this is more like artifacts.
Yep. But you do get your free one to start with.
Yep. So
Anybody feel like assisting in this? If not,
Well, wouldn't Gerald help? Because I know that Aramis would encourage you to help. You should assist Vizar.
I'm good. I have studied the books in the library about these livers.
Yes, but many hands make lighter work.
This is not physical work. This is not physical work, Aramis. This is work of the mind, and sometimes
figurative.
If you don't want me to help you, that is fine. I can find other work.
And I look at you like, Gerald, I would love for you to help me, but really, how many of the occult masterpieces have you really actually studied? Yeah, thought so. So, as much as I would love your help in this, my love, but I feel that it's fine if I do this alone.
Okay.
There's stuff for there's more important stuff that you can do with your time. You're so good at so many things.
I'll smile and I go off and be suspicious at those notes from Margaret.
All right then. Well, Vizar, rolling 3 dice, and as you're rolling, I will remind folks, and I don't know, Jan, you may not have heard this. Everyone got a low advance last time around.
I did
not. So as you're rolling, Vizar, let's just go around and hear what people spend for their low advance. Rich, what did you spend for your low advance?
By spend for a low advance, did you mean that I wrote it down and didn't spend, but now I'm looking at skills? I'll be buying a skill.
I don't blame you. This is one of those, we're getting to that point where that's a really good buy. Jen, what did you happen to spend yours on?
I bought my silver up from 4 to 5.
Really interesting. Very interesting. Alex, what did you spend yours on?
The domain of crime.
Very good choice. Strong choice. Sabine, did you have a chance to spend yours?
Oh yeah, I did last time. I spent mine on technology because I'd studied some of the books with
That's right.
Vermisian Knights.
Very, very good. And we'll come back to Jan and Rich in a moment and find out what maybe they spent.
Compel.
Oh, you got it.
Compel. Yeah, I've been sitting on Compel for a long time. Now I have it.
Very good choice. How did you roll, Vizar?
I've got a 7, so I think I'm taking a bit of stress.
I
shouldn't have poked myself with these things.
Yeah, I think we're going to give you on this one. Let's have it go on mind. Roll me a D3.
Okay. It's a 1.
Oh, very good for you. Takes you up to a total of 3, however. I'll roll a D10 real quick.
Yeah.
A 2.
So I take minor fallout and recover all of my stress.
Yes, you do.
Or recover 3 points of stress.
3 points of stress, so that should be... Yeah.
No, but I take a minor fallout.
You do. You begin studying these, and the paired to the kind of spiked bone ones. As you're looking them over and kind of reading the etchings that are on them, you could tell that this is increasing physical ability. And you had the knowledge that this made him faster, made him much quicker reactions and that sort of thing. You could tell that they would have been deep set into the muscle of his arm. Probably didn't penetrate to the bone, but carried through his forearm, well down into his forearm. The insertion had to have been agonizing. You could tell that now that they've been removed, they could be used again. Kind of looking at them, this is probably one of the easier to insert slivers. Less danger, though, with any sliver, there is dangers. But this one probably has, one of the higher likelihoods of success. However, as you pick up the obsidian one that had been in the base of his skull and begin to study it, there's something to it that immediately begins disturbing. The etchings on it in platinum almost seem to swirl before your eyes, and by happenstance, or maybe in your kind of moment of feeling it, it almost is like it throbs or moves slightly in your hand and lightly scratches your finger. As it does, you feel this weight, this presence, someone demanding, report to me, come to me, tell me where you are. It is so strong in that second that it is almost overwhelming. You have to clench your jaw not to call out. And you are taking the shaken fallout. You can't focus on what you're doing. You may not gain dice from domains until you take time to calm down.
Okay.
But there is something calling to this one, and you just innately, for a moment, feel like it owns you, like it possesses you. This is a slave sliver.
Thought as much, but this is really wow. Okay, do I think I could recognize the voice if I heard it?
Perhaps. I'll say that maybe a lot of it is more a feeling, but perhaps, if you were in its presence, maybe you could.
Okay.
Fine. But it is, in that moment, I mean, it really. I think Aramit's, Gerald's off to the side looking at, scanning these notes. But Aramit's, I think you notice Vazar face go ashen, clench of jaw.
I would move up, put my hand on his shoulder. What have you found? What have you seen?
This is a nasty piece of work. It's a slave sliver, and you can, if you're attuned to it, you can still feel what it would be like to have this in your skull, in your mind. It's like an inescapable weight. It's not if in your body, if somebody kind of pushes you, you can always retreat into your mind, right? If it gets to that, you can always retreat into your mind. But with this, and I pointed at it, you can't, because it's in your mind. There's no place to hide from that.
And Fedora, I think you certainly can overhear this as well.
That's disgusting.
Yes. Very much so.
I'm actually pawing over the book of genealogy. But
These, however, point to the others, might yet be inserted again into someone to make them quicker. You might want to have an expert for this. Someone who is more of an expert than me.
Well, finding an expert like that.
Kept ask the Ceres.
Huh.
Yeah. Also, I don't know about doing this because it might have side effects. You become quicker, but that might make you more jittery, as we saw with this other guy. So, if you set them perfectly, I will put some mind to that.
But you say you've been looking over the book. Why don't we have you roll and investigate plus high society?
All right.
So it looks like 3 dice just off the bat.
Yep. Hey, there's 10.
Ooh, very good. Looking through, despite the killing off, the Steries seem to have worked quite hard to rebuild the family. And this genealogy is pretty up to a pretty recent point within the last, say, 5-10 years. And you begin to see that current clan numbers in the hundreds. And you also note that the king and queen here in Spire are, according to this genealogy, not truly the highest ranking of the clan. There is a name that you kind of can direct, find from the last of the queens and draw down, and her name is Ariel. In this genealogy, it speaks of her working now as a merchant in Yiz, one of the home nations. And according to this writer, has built up a significant business. And as a kind of footnote, the writer says, makes no claim to the Steries' name, and in fact gives a different name for her, which is Morin, M-O-R-E-N, Morin. And that the writer met with considerable hostility when he came to try and interview her.
Oh my.
But beyond that, you can see where, names popping up in this are names that are now floating around Spire, as well as the king and queen and their immediate descendants. Your connections and your knowledge will pick up a good 24 more that you've heard rumor of here in Spire, either marrying or setting up businesses or running little organizations, generally speaking, kind of charitable organizations. But already Spire's been infiltrated by a good number of these Steries. Probably the most damning thing would be that this reveals the queen as not the true descendant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely transcribing and copying some things down.
You've got a 10, so I'll let you, if there's any question you might like to ask more specific, I'll give you a question off of it.
Who's the writer of the genealogy? Like, what's he up to lately?
Looking through, you find that it is a Lashawn, who is an itinerant Lashawn traveling between the home nations and the diaspora of the Drow. And this is he specializes in genealogies of nobles. This is just one of the genealogies he's written. And like I say, he travels widely. We're going to call him, let's call him Samuel. Brother Samuel.
Got it. Understood. I think the next step would be probably to try and acquire one or two other books that he's written.
All right. So we can set that in motion here coming up. I think that's take a little time, but certainly nowhere near outside of your ability to do. Gerald, you've been looking over the notes, but what are you doing?
Yeah, I think I'm got old notes from Makareth and the new one, and I'm also how long has it been since the previous message that she left in the Dropbox? After we've been gone for so long.
If you had to guess, she was trying to drop something off every week to 2 weeks. So the last one before you had left one for her had been about a week before.
Okay, so there's been a constant. It has not been a big gap and then this note. Okay.
No. She's been trying to get in touch. She didn't know what had happened to you, where you were.
I mean, I think I'll still be paranoid. And is it the same person who's written it? Is it the?
I think with your discerning eye, it definitely looks like the same handwriting.
Okay.
Could she be compelled to do it? Maybe, but you don't think it's a forgery.
I don't think I could tell if somebody's compelled from their handwriting.
No, and I only mention it because you're a very paranoid person.
Yeah, I think, I'm going to trust it provisionally, since there's not been a big gap of time where anything could have happened. So,
all right. Then I'll come to you, Aramis. Is there anything in particular you are wanting to look into while you're here?
Not that I can think of. Is there anything folks need Aramis to do to support their efforts?
Since we're all here, I would pose this suggestion that I could put a fact into place that the Staries don't care about religion, because that might be our road in to wean their supporters of the deep love and gratitude they feel towards them. Because if we really want them to slow their ascent in the city, I think that would be a good way to go in there.
I'm nodding. That could cut deep.
Hermits, what do you think? Because this hinges a little on you, because if we don't have an alternative, then that will end up in the void.
Indeed. If we think that this is the best method to help withdraw some support, then we should move forward.
I can always change it. I mean, I might go mad in doing so, but I mean, people I know have been saying that I'm mad anyway, so.
I also will mention, Aramis, that you can tell all of or pretty much all of your crew, to one extent or another, are feeling jumpy, seem to be of a, they built up some stress. If you were wanting to do something about that.
Yes, gather around, my friends. I wish Zordon were with us, but I believe we should have some respite. Yes?
That's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Well, I will lead them in the rite of respite. A place of stillness and healing will be created. Lead them in a recuperation session while I hold vigil And we'll create a comfortable healing environment, probably moving them away from the books, having Fanara, Vizar, Gerald all stay in a circle facing each other. Maybe I angle Gerald, Vizar to face each other just a little more than they face Fanara. That I have each of them say something that they value about the other. I start with Fanara, of course, because I'm very clever in masking these things.
You definitely don't know what you're doing.
No.
So 3 stress can be healed, or with 3 stress, you could also get rid of a minor fallout. So with us all kind of taking this moment, this respite, why don't we take our first break? Well, we're back, and I'm going to take a suggestion off of the chat here. I'd like to hear what everyone values about the rest of the group, but I'm going to give y'all a few minutes to think on that as I dip over to Zordon. But as I do that, I'm also going to announce a trigger of a fallout that's going on in this. Gerald, I'm triggering your permanently weird. You have an option to try and avoid doing it. D3 stress to mind will let you control yourself, but keep that in mind when you're doing yours. But Zord, the next morning you head out to the dock slip. Are you going alone, or are you taking any of your comrades?
I will take some comrades. Definitely, of course, taking my squire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and for my minor advance, I took the religion skill because I figured it's appropriate now.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So you and your comrades head out to the slip, where you see there is a decent sized barge. I mean, it's probably 40-foot long, flat boat, has a winch on the top of it, and you see kind of dangling over the deck is a metal sphere. In the sphere, you see there are several like portholes with thick glass all around, kind of at the compass points of the sphere. Looking at it, you can see there's a pretty good sized hole in the bottom, big enough for a person to get through. It looks to be made out of very, very heavy brass. And you see a human who is busily tinkering with things on the outside. You can see that there are like weird little spindly arms off the edges of it. And you can see that there's some lights on it and some other little gadgets. You're not even sure what they could be. Meanwhile, there are, some crew of mixed, a mixed crew of drow and a few humans and that sort of thing up there preparing the barge. And you also see your friend from the Red Serpents. She's there with 2 fellow Red Serpents. She sort of raises Sir Soren.
Yep. This is a very strange contraption you got there.
Yeah.
And he starts digging into the top of his breastplate where he put the paperwork that's she gave him.
She says, I'll tell you, there's no way in hell I'd get inside that thing, but luckily I don't have to.
Aren't you happy?
She looks, your guys and the serpents with her have been eyeing each other a little bit as she kind of looks up, make nice. And the serpents kind of move forward and tentatively, hey, how you doing? Shaking hands with your krakens. Your krakens look to you kind of to take the lead.
Go on. Yes. Hi. Nice to meet you. You should have a drink later. Yeah.
There's a stiff moment of them kind of interacting in a non-hitting fashion that is unusual for them. And but they they get together all right as she says to you, come on, I'll introduce you to Tom.
Right.
You'll be in the ball with him.
Yeah. How many does the... I'll ask Tom.
As you move up, Tom, this is my friend that I was telling you about. And he turns to you. Hello. How very nice to see you. Oh, I'm wonderful. Lovely to see you, sir. Sir Sorted, was it?
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah. He comes over and he kind of like takes your hand, but he's one of these people that, he offers his hand. If you shake it, then his other hand comes up and kind of pats you on the forearm, and he gets in closer than is kind of comfortable, and he's started kind of patting you on the shoulder. Oh, it's very nice to meet you. I'm extremely happy to meet you. I am always so impressed with all the night orders.
Yes. Sorry, you were talking a bit fast.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, but there's no time to waste in this world. I find that if I slow my talking down, the day just passes away, and then what have I got? Nothing at all but a bunch of talk. Don't you understand?
Yes. I have here. I've got the piece of paper that's she told me to get you.
Yes. Oh, how very. Yes, thank you. Yes. And you're wanting to take a little ride in my contraption here, eh?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
You've already been down in that thing, haven't you?
Oh, many times, many dozens and dozens of times. Yes. The river fascinates me. Mm-hmm. So many unusual things down there.
Did you find any drowned buildings, maybe?
Oh, ever so many. Oh, so many. Oh, drowned buildings and boats and statuary and all of these sorts of it's almost as though there's a whole city down below there. The river, it seems to it moves as it wills.
So it's not going to get easier. Okay, good. Of course, why would it?
Not to mention many creatures. Oh, so many interesting creatures down there.
Of course, yeah. Of course, there's creatures. How many people does what did your ball take?
Ball. I like to call it my Tom Bell.
Of course you would, yes.
Usually I go alone, but I'm certain that even though you're quite a stout guy, he kind of touches your arm there. And you're rather large, but I think that you and I both could fit in, and maybe if you'd like another observer, it'll be a bit cramped, but I don't mind being close. No, not at all.
I would very much like my squire to be able to attend.
Oh, certainly. He kind of looks around as Thor's moves closer. Oh, hello, my dear. Yes. You don't mind a little close quarters, do you? As he comes over and sort of takes her hand and again does that kind of getting in close and patty on shoulder and all. She is giving him a very not friendly look.
Like, I'm probably sort of standing behind him, shrugging, like, there's nothing we can do.
He says, well, certainly the three of us, it'll just be grand. I rarely have passengers. Most people don't like to go in. They find it disturbing.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Oh, well, once you go down, the mysteries you'll see, it'll change your whole perspective.
I'll have to believe you. So you said something about creatures.
Well, yes, there's of course all sorts of fish and eels, serpents of various sizes, not to mention the little crawly things that are along the bottom, crabs and crawfish type things, lobsters even, and clams of vast size. And I've seen oysters that are as big as your head.
Wonderful. So is there anything that we need to worry about getting into your Tom Bell?
I have encountered on occasion a few things that have poked their heads up, but in general, I can just kind of, most of them don't like the air, and those that do, I have a poking stick of my own design inside.
Ah, wonderful. So do I.
Yeah.
It's like a.
I would recommend, however, that just for safety's sake, you might wish to leave your armors here.
Is it going to be too heavy for your tom bell?
Weight is not exactly the thing precisely, but I will say that it does bulk you up and will make it a little bit tighter inside as well. For safety's sake, there have been occasions when I have had to exit the bell and swim out.
Right. Yeah, armor would make that difficult because it floats. Wait. But I kind of. Can I bring it along?
Oh, if you wish, yes, of course.
Right. Good.
Well, if you're ready.
Well, and then it'll be like, well, Thorza, you heard the man. Disrobe me.
Thorza begins working the straps, and then once you're out, she'll turn her back to you so you can help with her straps. And y'all are down to your undershifts, the things you wear beneath your armor, your padding, all that sort of stuff. I think that, it's, you see each other so seldom out of armor. It's a little weird to see because you're smaller. I mean, you look distinctly smaller out of your armor. And, it probably reminds you that Thorza's really rather young when you see her out of her metal shell. But he says, oh, well, good. Come this way. Come this way. And he'll move to where the ball's sort of hanging there. I just finished all the calibrations and everything should be prepared. He moves up underneath it and kind of puts his arms through the hole and pulls himself up into it. Come on up. Come.
Yes. Coming.
As you slide inside of this metal sphere, like I say, it's about 10 foot round inside. There are not chairs so much as like a padded stool and then a padded bench at the back. And all around inside of it, you see gauges and dials and buttons and switches and wheels. And then, of course, you could see out of the portholes to either side. They are remarkably clear and clean. So he spent a lot of money for glass this thick and clean. And he says that it will make your ears pop a bit as we go, but don't worry, it's perfectly safe. And you hear him kind of reach over and flip a switch and reverberating inside of the bell and outside, and you wonder why he used it since they probably could hear him even without him, though there is a loudspeaker on it that goes, prepare to lower us below, below. And you hear the grinding noise as the bell sort of shakes and begins moving the arm out, and the barge kind of moves off from the dock, and you can see through the windows and down from below, through the hole in the floor, that the barge moves out towards about middle of the river, as the arm puts you over the water. Doesn't take very long. The river is, this is a massive river. And he will take you outside of the docks area into the open air. It is, I think we're going to say it's dusk. So while there's still a bit of the sun light out there, it's not enough that it's disturbing you and Thorza. He has enough drow crew that he doesn't go out in direct sun. And once you get out there, he wants to lower away. as the ball, and as it hits the water and you see the water reach the bottom of that thing, you feel this sudden kind of pressure in your ears, in your head, and it begins to descend. And you can kind of feel like a circulation of air up at the top of the bell, and you can see that there are these vents. And you can hear now that you begin to go into the water, and as the bell gets under the water, you can kind of hear a distant sort of sound coming from the vent. But the water miraculously does not come into this ball as you begin to descend. He says,
we're looking out one of the portholes like a bit uneasy, like, okay, well,
yeah, Thor's is kind of white clawing onto something beside her as the ball descends, and it gets very, very dark. Only the little lights that are inside of here on it all before he flicks a switch, and outside of the ball, whoosh, there is suddenly light streaming. I have worked up the most unusual lighting system. You see, mage lights have problems underwater. However, I am using a bit of an esoteric lighting system done through filaments.
What does that mean?
I electrify and create light.
Thorza, are you? Is this meaning anything to you?
She gives a moment that she says, "Ah, yes," and just nods at him. And he says, "You'll find that the light penetrates much better through the sediments. The river is full of sediments."
Yes.
And you begin to descend. And you can see on the little dial telling you how far you go down. First 10, 20 feet, 30 feet. Once again, that kind of weird pressure-y feel is there, but it's remarkably
I think
helpful.
at some point I'm going to go like, how deep is the Elf River actually?
Oh, there are parts in the center channels that I have yet to plumb. Over 100 feet.
Oh. And so if we have to, what you said about having to leave the dumbbell, and you're then like, I don't think you can make it up in time, can you?
I would take a very, very deep breath, but we will not be going that deep. In fact, honestly, if we went that deep and you had to get out of the bell, it's really not holding your breath that will be your worst problem. You see, the pressure at that point will cause you to have your blood turn against you.
Wonderful.
However, our friend, Miss Gradell, has said that it is mainly the areas that the river is taken near the banks that you're interested in.
Yeah. I'm guessing it might have been somewhere along the northern bank of the river, but I'm really guessing.
Yeah. He says, well, we can at least give it a good survey. And after you've descended about 40 feet, which is pretty darn deep, you have reached the bottom, the river bottom there. And he says, I've been in this area before, and it's quite safe for us to come down here. I will then begin directing the barge to move us along in a pattern so that we can see more.
Right.
We will be going rather slowly, though, because I have encountered times when I have struck buildings, which causes all sorts of destruction.
Right, let's not do that.
Yeah, very good. And hearing the lights, first off, as you got down there, the light shining below, You saw maybe the size of a plate, look like crabs, scuttling away from the light, and a few black eels moving along the bottom there. There's a word better than bottom, but I can't think it. And then, I mean, it's got this remarkable moment when he directs the barge to begin moving, that you do start seeing buildings. They're not in great shape, but hell, they're underwater. They're in better shape than you would imagine them to be. Walls still standing, some even still with roofs. There are streets. It is clear that the river must have come in rapidly in these moments, because you can still see where there are like pottery and crates in rot state that were just left. And as he moves through, he gives you, the opportunity to, you can do it to point the light if you wish.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll definitely be doing that.
And he will follow your lead on where to look. So why don't we have you roll a just a chance to see some things here? I will say this is either investigate or pursue, and it is either religion or I suppose it could be low society, since you're kind of looking at the docks region, even though it's underwater.
No, I'll go for it. I just got religion, so let's use that. All right, so pursue and religion.
3 dice.
Where's my dice roller? Over here. A 9.
Oh, very good. As you begin trawling through these streets, and he occasionally will send word for the barge to move it away, and it's kind of weird to watch the ball kind of do this kind of pendulum swing as the barge moves to go around things as you travel these streets.
Probably going like, well, where would a bar be in a street like this? Okay.
You reach what looks to be kind of would have been a little isthmus out into the river, because the riverbed, thank you, Rich, the riverbed that you're on kind of juts out to where the river gets deeper. So you can see off to your left, we'll say, the riverbed that you're on level continue out, but there's steep drop off all around it. He says, this would have been where the river was running before it took this area.
Right.
And you could see that there's the remnants of where a dock was at that isthmus, and the bit that was out has kind of dropped off, but you can see the remains up on it. And you'll notice that there are in this area a number of remarkably well preserved structures. One of them, just kind of almost immediately strikes you as like a place that merchants would have come to deal with folks coming up the river.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple of them, it's instinct for you to smell a bar. There are a couple of those as well. Let's see. I think that it's as you're coming up to these and that pier going out that you notice a bit of a light at the place where the dock has broken off. Further out where the river drops deeper, and kind of directing him and shining your light over there. You make your way.
Definitely like a Holy shit moment.
And you could see as you shine a light down towards where the river gets deeper, and it is a good bit deeper than where your bell is now, probably 30, 40 feet further down. Looks like a piece of this dock, when it broke off, lodged into the cliff face, the side of the river getting deeper, and sort of wedged into some rocks. And sitting on the edge of that dock, probably built into it, is a wooden structure that, despite having been down here all this time, is in really good shape. Like, the windows still have their panes. The roof, the tile is still there and looks nearly perfect. And the ornate sign of a golden cup still hangs, blowing in the current. And there's a light, like a fire maybe, but that's impossible, coming from inside.
Definitely like a shiver going, like Zordon definitely has like an involuntary shiver of like, oh, Jesus, fuck. Okay, didn't think I would actually find this.
Thorsa says, that's not possible, is it?
But then again, we've seen way too many things that aren't possible. Time traveling trains. This is up there, but
should we try to get closer?
We have to.
I can bring us somewhat closer, but that is a depth where we will be in some considerable danger.
Right. What's the extra danger?
You see, my pumps provide us the air that keeps us, well, alive. And well, if we go further, the pressure can outstrip my pumps, meaning that, well, we get river instead of air inside.
Okay. We don't want that. How close can you get us?
Let me try. And he radios up, and the barge moves you out to where you'd been so close to the riverbed. As you move out, and it suddenly drops away into blackness below you, it is disconcerting. And you feel the kind of lowering, and you could see out of the side window that you pass below the riverbed you had been on, and are kind of descending 10 more feet, 15 more feet. So you're about 30 feet above this thing. And you then begin to notice, like, the water from the hole. You see that it's a little bit cresting the hole. You know, there's the bottom of your bell is beginning to get a little water in it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
As he descends about 5 more feet, you notice movement. First, you notice movement through one of the windows down below.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a figure being silhouetted against the fire, and you see a bottle being brought up to the figure and drank. But it's the movement in the blackness below that draws your attention. First, you, in the lights you're shining down, see two gleams, reflections perhaps off of something. They are wide apart, maybe 15, 20 feet apart.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then coming up out of the blackness, you see a head. An eel? Is that an eel? That can't be an eel. 10, 15 feet across, its mouth open wide as it is moving up towards you. We're going to move away from you a moment. As I'd like to hear here in our repose circle, the things that we appreciate about each other. And I suppose, Father Aramis, you would lead, or did you point to Finara to start us off?
Oh, Aramis is more than happy to be the first to set the example. And he would look to Finara, place a hand on her shoulder, and say, I am continually amazed at your resourcefulness, your pluck, and your wit, my friend Finara. And I know that I can always count upon you.
Oh, thank you, Aramis.
Then, yeah, like we can go in circle.
Right.
Yep.
So motion to you, Finara.
All right. Else is an alphabetical list, so I'm just going to start with the top and work my way down. Aramis, I feel continually anchored by your eagerness to do what's right. I feel like I can always rely on that.
Thank you. Then he will, since we're doing the alphabetical thing, he'll look to Gerald.
Looking at me. Okay, I have to say something quick. Bullshit.
Something in earnest would be nice.
Still staring at me.
Shouldn't we maybe not
The friends that are back, keeping us safe. We're going to be dead tomorrow, but then I smile. Bizarre.
I glare at Aramis for putting this Gerald in such a position. And then I stop glaring and I say, well, I have a hard time choosing someone because I all value you all so much. Finara, for your inventiveness, Aramis, for your empathy, and Gerald, because you always do what you think is right. And that's a gift.
Does it continue around?
I certainly got more.
All right.
Cool. Then if it continues around, I would look to Vizar and say, I am always amazed that with your wit and your cleverness, that you still deign to spend time here when there are so many other places that would value your talent. And I appreciate that.
Finara?
I appreciate Gerald's cautious mind. I feel that sometimes when we want to forge ahead recklessly, Gerald's is the voice that keeps us from going too far.
Looking at you, Gerald, do you have anything else to say?
Looking at me. To you all, you're able to see past flaws, to see the best in people.
And
I shrink
Bizarre?
back a bit.
Bizarre, do you have something else to say?
Of course, I admire the dedication of everyone here in this room to our cause, to what we are, why we are here. And thank you, Armits, for reminding me that I'm not here to gain glory or find the best story, but to bring some measure of freedom to our people.
Aw.
And Gerald turns and puts a hand on Gerald's shoulder, kind of offering him an anchor, similar to how Finar had described. You are such a fighter. Your noble spirit inspires me, Gerald. I find strength in you.
I've seen you do what needs to be done as well.
Looks to Finara.
Well, Bizarre, your eagerness to learn and downright zest for the truth. It always pleases me. It's useful, of course, but more important to me, it's just the real delight of it.
Hot.
Gerald?
What? Gerald looks back confused at the group, like, what? Why that anyone glanced his way?
And in the hesitation, Bizarre, do you speak or have you said your piece?
If Gerald, if there is an awkward pause, I will definitely jump in and say, well, I'm not a very religious person, as you know, Aramets, but I've quite come to almost rely on these little ceremonies that we do here. I almost feel like, yes, there might be a God that loves me, and that is on you, my friend. That is on you.
Oh.
Shall I roll deceive here? Because this is not the truth.
Oh. Sure.
I feel that at some point I have to ask, because Gerald Bizarre is not telling the truth a lot. And I rolled a lot of dice.
Deceive and your knack and your starter and yeah. I suppose this is low society since it's y'all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or religion.
No, I don't have religion, so. See how that goes. Yep, I've got 2 10s. So.
Very sincere looking Bizarre as he tells you all this. And as we feel the sort of swell of the ritual being completed, everyone can take their healing bits. And I think sorry, my dog barked at something and I want to check what. Apparently nothing. All right. As this swells and there's this kind of moment of, as it ends, people stepping back and kind of catching their breath from what really is it is a presence you feel. Finara, Goliset comes up and rather quietly into just like your ear.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know why. There is something very disturbing about Gerald. I have noticed it over the last few weeks. I'm not certain, but I have seen pressure cause someone to crack and become very dangerous. Mistress, I begin to worry that we may have to deal with Gerald eventually.
That seems like private business that we should discuss separately later. Thank you.
Oh, of course, mistress. And as you kind of break up this moment, feeling better, you know that you have a meeting the next day. I think you've gleaned most of the things that your information can gain you at the moment. So I think we'd have pleasantries or whatever, but we'd start to split up. That seemed fair enough. Everybody sort of agreed with that. I'm going to offer a moment here. Doesn't have to happen. Do Vazar and Gerald wish to hang back a moment to speak? We had talked about that in our wishes last time, so I at least want to put it on the board.
I still have to do the fact creating, the alternative fact making thing, though.
Right. And is that purely magical,
Yes.
or do you have a practical bit of where you write out to people things as well?
No, this is purely magical. I mean, I have to write it down just to fix it in my mind. But it is magic. It's not.
Is this something you intend to do here with everyone present, or are you doing it privately?
I feel it might better be done here because people, there are people who can sense magic. And this is not subtle. This is not really the subtle kind of magic that is totally subtle.
No.
Right. So I'd rather be sensed here than in my own place. If you all don't mind, I would start doing this. And also, as I said, this might take a bit of a toll. And I'd rather have someone here if someone was willing.
I think I would like look to Aramitz and just kind of like do a like gesture that he can go.
I trust my allies, and I will give them some quiet time. For kissing, I assume.
Fanara, do you kind of, seeing that Gerald intends to stay for this and take care of this, wish to stay or leave?
And clasp Gerald on the shoulder and say, I'd like to have you over perhaps tomorrow at your convenience in the afternoon. And then I walk out.
You get like just the nod.
And as they leave, what does it look like, Vazar, as you begin this ritual?
It begins with me telling a story of the Staries and how they intend to capture people's souls without giving them sustenance. They give them sustenance for body. They give them maybe sustenance for mind, but probably not. What they don't give them, absolutely not, is give sustenance to the soul. Quite to the contrary. They wish to enslave their souls. They are not godly people. The Mie does not look upon them with favor. And now I think the Damnu do not look at them with favor. They never have. And if they take the city, this will be the same thing that it has been with the Alfir, who do not respect our gods. Neither do the Staries. Do not kid yourself. Food for your body is fine. I understand that. But are you really willing to lose your soul for that?
Very nice. And is there as you tell the story, I think that Gerald being a part of it, I mean, it has weight and power as the story is being told.
I mean, I think I'm sitting there like cross-legged on the floor. It's very much like story time, listening captivated to the storyteller.
And I think that you have to take some stress. Is that correct?
I think I have to roll first.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this is not something I can do without rolling. Is it? Wait, no, I can write 3 steps. It doesn't say anything about rolling.
That's the alternate facts. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This would be occult, clearly, and would either have to suffer of mind.
Compel, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
occult. I need to get a more occult next. Okay. Does Gerald help?
By being the audience member to it, so it's kind of like, and be the rapt attention, the kind of the nodding of the head and the being caught up in it, maybe.
Yeah, I feel that is a, so I have help. I have both thingies, and I have a D10. So yay! See how that goes. Well, there's a 9.
very good. So no additional stress.
Still take a
D3 mind stress.
Okay, I can take it off with a D3. Yeah, me and my big mouth. See how that goes. Oh, 2. That's fine. That's actually I'm 1 and 2 is okay. 1 and 2 is 1, 3 and 4 is 2, and 5 and 6 is 3, right? Okay, so it's just one. It's just one thread. One
Very
thread.
good.
Sorry, I'm good.
Excellent. As this fact begins to reverberate across the city, which I think is super cool. As the story ends, Gerald, and you kind of can feel the release of the energy of it, what do you say? What do you do?
I hope we all live through this.
I hope we will reach our goals. Living through this, Gerald, that was never our priority.
I know, but it's become more so.
You're not well, Gerald, you know that.
I know.
Is there something I can do to help you with that?
I don't know. The taking of geysers, the masks, it's not just mummery, play acting, it's more, takes more.
Yeah, I imagine. I can imagine. It's hard enough to know who you are when you only lie all the time without adding magic to the mix.
Like God.
Or God.
I mean, I know their wishes align with ours. But how we get there, going to be a dark time.
That's what we signed up for, isn't it?
It is. The game, it really didn't bother me that much before. I say looking directly, making eye contact.
And I step towards you and I take your hands and I say, I don't mean to be a distraction for you, Gerald. It's the last thing I want to be.
I disagree, but I don't want you to be the last thing. in my mind. I place you a few steps higher than that.
It's nice of you to say that, but remember the mission comes first.
That sometimes worries me. I believe I will always make the correct choice for the mission.
I trust that you do. That's what I love about you, your dedication.
Even if it means one of the cell has to be sacrificed, left.
That's what we signed up for when we joined the ministry. To give our lives for the cause.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to lose you either, and I don't want to die, but if it's necessary, it's necessary.
Can we just agree to make that as hard as possible to happen?
It should not be our first action to go to. It always should.
Hand back. I think I mean, I don't have anywhere to be just this moment. Okay, glancing at, actually, do we have like clocks or anything, or is timepieces, or
there are timepieces in the world? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have a fair bit of time before I need to meet up with Fanara. So.
I think she said tomorrow afternoon. So yes, I think you have a bit of time.
And I kind of.
Do we get a
fade?
Do we get a fade to black moment?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
lovely. From that fade to black moment, I think I'm going to shift to the chapel, where I'm guessing, Aramis, you were going home.
Yes.
As you arrive, you can see that out front, there at the kind of vestibule before getting into the sanctuary, there has been set up some things for, it's just like bits of food, and there's a little sign there, Lumier's heart is open to all who hunger and who thirst. But you can also see that the doors to the sanctuary have been closed, and it says that for the night, the I guess she'd be Lady at this point. Lady Yvette is having a private sanctuary. But you guess that clearly would mean you.
Yeah, I think I would guess that. We'll see if I'm right. I will head up and check the door. I, of course, would likely have a key unless she's changed the locks in the time I was gone.
She has not, and it's not locked. Okay. She's taking faith that people won't come in uninvited. And as you come in, you see that the sanctuary is empty and pretty dark. I mean, there are a couple of lights that are low, but it is not lit like normal. From the rear, you can smell absolutely delicious food. And also a rather sweet scent of incense burning. As you come in, you hear, you're home, Aramis. But you don't see her, you just hear her from the back.
Yes. I noticed the note outside. Should I go?
I sincerely hope not. I thought you and I could have a little uninterrupted time?
I was hopeful he would say that. Yes, that would please me greatly.
As you head to the back, you see first as you walk in, the table has on it a bottle of fairly expensive wine. You could also see there are nibbly bits. Rather than like a heavy meal, it's more attractive little things of the figure variety. And you see that Yvette has her kind of robe. She's got her back to you, and she's lighting candles. There's no mage lights. It's all candlelight in here at the moment. And she says, I thought we could share a bottle of wine and perhaps a light meal.
That sounds lovely.
And I was thinking that this might be a time when my robes are inappropriate. And as she says that, she turns and lets her robe drop to the rather sleeky spider silk shift that she has on underneath as she moves up into your arms.
Oh my, that is definitely a welcome. That is a welcome moment.
And I think that's a fade to black as well.
Sounds good.
And I'll let Jen get back. We won't have that same sort of fade to black moment, I think, for Lenora and Golaset, but I do have a moment of a seed there. I'll let her get back, but while we do, I'll come to Under the River. As we
fading to black.
Yes, out of the blackness, I think we get then this thing start to arise on our screen, and you hear Tom go, "Oh my! Oh my! Oh my! Oh my!"
Let's see. Can I? And I'll definitely. I'm grabbing my sword. And I'm like, okay. So sort of sitting at the edge. Like, you know, my hands sort of like getting wet and on my hands and knees at the edge of the hole of the, ready to stab at anything that's.
This thing comes up, its mouth opening wide, and you then realize its mouth is wide enough to swallow the entirety of the ball.
I mean, that's when that's when Sworden realized I was very much aware of this.
You see as it comes by the building that it sort of hits the inn, and it sort of trembles there where it's stuck on the side of the wall, and then slides a bit down.
No.
As darkness engulfs you, this thing has wrapped its massive mouth around the entirety of the ball, and up through the hole comes a rasping, toothed tongue. Stab. Good show. Let's have you roll a fight plus, holy crap, what is a giant eel thing? I think this is, oh Lord have mercy. I think we could go with
Low
order
society.
or crime, huh?
Low society.
Yeah, very low.
Very low.
Let's go with that.
All right, that's much appreciated because I have that at least. I'm pretty sure this is not a duel. No, it's not.
But if you're willing to, because Thorza will definitely have grabbed out her sword, you can take a die of help, but it will also put her at risk as well.
Yes, I will. And adding more dice than I needed. All right, let's see. Come on. Yeah, no, it's an 8. Happy that I took an extra die.
Good show. 8 means no stress, though no mechanical stress. It might be a little stressful to think of this whole thing. As the two of you leap forward, stabbing at this rasping tongue, slicing at it, I think that, would you like to describe a bit of how this looks?
I mean, that's like, I can only imagine that this is what it looks like if someone's getting French kissed, but this is like the something like, and we're just going like, like dodging the tongue and just going like, and stabbing and slashing at it, and like being like literally pushed up against the wall of the little bathysphere, and like just
and Tom is bring us up,
no, don't.
As you and Thorza slashing at this, and erupting from the wounds is this black sludgy, I guess, blood that begins to splatter around the inside as it thrashes, and upon all of you, it smells horrific. But it reacts by opening its jaws in pain. You can hear the sound of its teeth as it drags along the brass of the bell, screeching, ringing inside of here as you feel the winch begin pulling you up. And for a moment,
I immediately grab Tom and I go, if you do not tell them to stop winching us up, I swear to God, I'm going to murder you.
Stop pulling us. Stop. It withdraws back to survey you again. You can see it lurking there for a moment, and looking to where the building was, it is no longer there. It has slid deeper.
We have to find it.
He looks at you. Are you mad?
Yes, we've discussed this, but well, not with you, but yes.
Not only this thing, but we can go no deeper. The bell will fill. We will die.
Well, do you know anyone else that has a conscription like this? You don't, right?
No.
This is we can't go up now. We'll never find it back. This is as close as we can get as close as we can get, and I'll figure something out.
His eyes widen as he says, he begins to turn a crank and lower, and as it begins to lower, a bit more water begins to seep in. This thing down below makes another charge at you, smacking into the side of the bell, seeming as though maybe it has decided rather than send its tongue in, it's going to batter at you. Mm-hmm. And the bell slams back up against the side of the cliff that you're going down beside, and then Tom screams, and water flooding in. Tom looks at you and says, I'll die either way. We must go up, Sir Zordon.
No. And if you do, then, well, I guess I'm getting out.
Thorza grabs your arm. Zordon, we will find another way. If you go out there, you will die.
We're not going to find it back. It's gone too deep.
She reaches
we'll never
up,
get as close as this,
and puts her hand on the side of your head. Please, Sir Zordon, don't do this. I don't want to lose you.
Same here. But I don't see another way. You go
another
up,
way.
You go up with Tom and keep a beer cold for me.
As you move over to the hole, I'm going to pull up here onto a meta level for a moment. Right. It is highly likely you could die doing this, so I don't think that that's going to go well.
Mm-hmm.
Thorza is tempted to hit you in the back of the head and knock you out. But I don't want to do that without, a discussion between us.
Mm-hmm.
But you will likely die if you go out of this bell. What would you like me to do, Jan?
Yeah, no, I think he's crazy enough. He's gonna go for it. Like...
And you don't want me to stop you?
Mm-mm.
All right. I can do no more as you step to the hole, and Tom yelling in, go up, as Thorza, we will go up a few feet and then we will wait. And you step out of the hole and descend into the water. You immediately feel enormous pressure on you. And you're going to attempt to swim down? Is that what you're trying to do? All right. This will be a pursue. And it will be religion because you are following your quest.
Yes.
You are looking at damage, your stress level being onto your blood and armor.
Mm-hmm.
And your difficulty on this, I think at this point, we're only going to say a 1. We'll think about what happens next. Probably it will increase. But so -1 die.
-1 die. Lose 2. Okay. A 9.
Very good. You swim down. The massive creature, you see it swim below you, and its kind of undulating, eely body goes by, and it has to be 60 feet long. And you swim towards where you think this building has dropped, swimming down through the blackness, and it is pitch black now that you have moved away from the ball, though you can see the glow of it above you as you've traveled down you've traveled down about 20 feet. It's traveled up about 20 feet before it stops. You're now somewhere in the 80 feet down range. As down below you, you'd guess easily another 60, 80 feet. You see that glow of firelight. You want to swim down a little further?
Yes.
Pursue, religion, difficulty 2.
Oh, great. Only 1 die. That's a 4.
Roll me a d10, please.
It's a 9.
You take 9 to blood and armor.
Mm-hmm. Which I already had 9 in.
You will automatically take fallout.
You know what?
What you gonna do?
I won't.
Ha ha ha! Bravo!
I will be protected by them.
Excellent. No fallout. Woo! As you travel down a further 30 feet, you're at 110 feet below water. Below you, about 20 feet, you can see where this building and that piece of dock have wedged onto a cliff face, dangling over what appears to be even deeper blackness. You can see crawling along the cliff face beside you beside it in the dim light are more of those little crab things, only they've gotten a bit bigger. They may be the size of like a German Shepherd. And as you see it there, you can attempt to go a little deeper, but you're out of dice at this point. You're automatically going to take fallout. You know where it is. What you doing?
Gonna go for it.
Well, then you're rolling one die as a chance die.
A 1.
Roll a d10, please.
2.
You take 2 blood and armor, taking you to 15 total stress. And as you get down about 10 more feet, 10 feet away from the glowing window, the door, you see the figure come up to the window. You see an old man that you remember from your dreams. And he lifts up a bottle, sort of toasts you, takes a swig as your vision goes black. We're going to switch over to Panara. Jan, you can get rid of 6 of your stress, and you are unfortunately taking a major fallout at the moment, which means you actually might be getting rid of a little bit more. I'm sorry, getting rid of with a major. Oh, remove 7 fallout. You're dying, by the way.
Yes, I'm well aware.
We'll come back to that in just a moment. Fanara, as you are heading back towards home after this meeting breaking up with Golaset, he says, Mistress, as I was saying before, I feel that Gerald may need help.
I agree. I feel like Gerald has been uncomfortable in his own skin. Quite frankly, his mind is too deep into the work.
He clearly had a break when we were in the Mermisian. And the way he speaks to himself is most disturbing.
True.
I know of some from my days in the profession. There are doctors who deal in the mind, alienists.
Interesting. Well, have they done any valuable work, or is this something that they merely say?
I have known those who have talked with them, who have been helped. And often it seems that these plagues of the mind need to be acknowledged to first be healed. These doctors, alienists, help one address that. I myself was suffering some trepidations in my performing days.
Oh, I see.
I spoke with one who helped me realize the problem had to do with my own lack of confidence. His assistance was useful. And you can see he's very uncomfortable talking about it.
Well, if you found it useful, then that means quite a bit. So you aren't someone to pat themselves on the back and say, well, good job, everything was done.
I, of course, leave it up to you, mistress, but for your safety, I am concerned that, well, one who becomes unhinged becomes dangerous, mistress.
Oh, yes. Understood. Thank you. I'll have to consider this. Honestly, I'm not sure that I could get Gerald to trust someone from outside of the cell anymore with his internal troubles and secrets than he could us. So.
I just felt I should bring my concerns to you.
Thank you. I value your perspective. I have a few things idling in my mind, but I believe that I should consult Azur about it first.
Of course. And I think that we'll kind of pull out of that. We're at 4:30, so I kind of want to have us hear from Akareth. That way we'll be set up for our next thing. So I think we'll have, as you've all gone home to rest, and I'll have Rich come back here in just a moment, because I think that
maybe we could take a mini break.
Yeah, let's take a break.
Yeah,
let's go ahead and take it. Let's take 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back in just a moment.
Yeah.
So, Sorden, you currently are dying.
Yes.
You have an option here. You can choose to do something useful before you die and roll with mastery, because this is the last thing you'll ever do, or desperately try to cling onto life and lose something vital in the bargain.
Do something useful is very...
I know it's tempting bit, but, you know, your options are at the moment a little limited on what the usefulness may be, but who knows?
Just a question. When it says like you get to do something useful, is it like, and if you roll really well, you might survive, or is it no?
It is the last thing you will ever do.
Yeah. There's not a lot of useful stuff that I can do down here. So I will cling on to life and do something.
All right. You have faded to darkness. The next thing you... God, how mean is the thing you lose? I have mean, awful things to lose.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it. The next thing that you realize is someone screaming at you, "Wake up, wake up, wake up," and a heavy, heavy pressure on your chest. In kind of a daze, you crack open your eyes and you see Thorsa's face over the top of you as she and you're vomiting up black river water. As she leans down, once you finish vomiting, she presses on your chest again and leans down and blows air into your mouth, and you sort of black out again. It is the morning for the rest of you folks. I think that the person for sure that she'd send for would be you, Aramitz. You hear a pounding on the door of the chapel.
I wake and probably get dressed and quickly head to the chapel, telling Yvette to stay. Then I'll go answer it. Yes.
You see at the door is a man in armor, and he has the crest of the Kraken bell. Father Aramitz.
Yes.
It's Sorden. I think he's dying. Thorsa sent me to get you.
Let's go. And he's basically wearing a robe. That's it. That's no station. If Zordon is dying, he has to leave.
You begin running towards the docks. As you arrive, you see Sorden laying on a dock beside a barge. You see Thorsa beside him, kind of holding his head. He seems unconscious, out of it, dead. You're not sure.
Okay. I will try to figure out what is wrong and see what I can do to fix it.
As you come up, Aramitz, can you say it? She's crying. He was an idiot.
What has actually happened?
We were in the river. He's drowned.
All right. Let's see if Limier will aid us. Then I will say a quick prayer. See
All
if
right.
I'm able to help.
Let's have you roll fix plus. Oh, and it's the new morning. If you'd like to roll your chart.
Oh, goodness, that would be a thing. That'd be interesting. All right, let me roll the chart. I had a dream. I was woken from a dream. Let's see what I roll a D10. It's my first die roll of the game. Yay! 6. The fix skill and low society domain. Wow, I think I already had. Oh, yeah. I already had that. That's awesome. I'll just keep it. And that is the soil. Okay, so low society. So already have low society.
So you get mastery.
There we go. Cool. I'm looking to heal. So what do I have? What do I have?
It's going to be fix.
Yeah, it's going to be fixed. I just wonder if I had any
of your own. Yeah.
In my own stuff. And I don't think I do. I have protection stuff. I have the right of respite, but I've already done it this session. So yeah, it's just fix. And what do you think the domain would be?
I think since it's your buddy, it's either low society or crime or order.
I'd say low society.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I had Well, no, I had to have had fix. Yeah, sorry. Low society, or I'm sorry. I saw a note about do I get a knack or mastery? Because I had it.
You get mastery because
Okay.
you won't have to pick you don't have to pick a knack.
In the description of the move says you get a knack in them instead.
Or possess the ability, gain a knack in them instead.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
All right.
that's just I was just wondering maybe
Just how it's
description was
set up.
wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what would be your knack in fix and your knack in low society?
No idea. I have no knacks. So
I mean, you
not sure
can
how to do
give
it.
yourself healing as a knack for fix. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just do that.
All right.
Okay. And then knack means
You get an extra
another
die.
D10. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So Fix healing. I got 3D10 coming up here for trying to heal.
Looks like 4 because you got 2 from the fix and 1 from low society plus your starter.
Okay. Here we go. Woof. An 8 is my best.
Well, that's not bad. You don't take stress. Okay. As you begin working on him, you compress his chest as Thorza had been doing, and a bit of this river water coming out. You could tell he's still barely breathing. It's deep, rattly, watered breathing. But as you kind of turn his head to the side, you're and calling upon Lumiere, you feel her presence sort of come to you. And you can bring him back. You can feel that. You could feel that power in your hands to do this. But the question I want to ask is, what wound will remain with Zordon once you're finished? Will it be to his body or to his mind?
I think there's a moment of silent communication when Lumiere makes him aware of this, and Aramis has this terrible choice, and he thinks upon the circle of his allies, and he thinks upon Zordon's strength of arm and his strength of will, and he realizes that it is more important that Zordon's mind is unbroken after what he has seen has happened to Gerald. And given the choice, he chooses that some part of Zordon, that his body will be broken.
All right. As you flood this power, work your medicines upon him, Zordon, you regain consciousness again. Let's see, how am I going to set this up? I think that's probably our best bet. We hear a cracking sound as you move, this sort of grating noise as between Thorza and Aramis, they have broken a number of your ribs as they were compressing your chest. You have the moderate fallout, write down moderate fallout of broken ribs. And you are going to be having a difficulty of 1 on all physical actions until that is taken care of. But Aramis, as he comes to, you notice something a little different about him as well. His eyes, which are, much like all drow, are red. You now see as they open this black, almost like a film that has a watery blackness floating there in his eyes. Zordon, it's not going to affect your eyesight, but it is extremely distinctive. It is something that people, when they see it, are going to find a little unnerving. It will make a description of you very easy. As Thorza, when you open up your eyes, and she's going to lean down and just grab hold of you and you idiot, you almost got yourself killed. You're muted, love.
And then he basically, like, there's a small croak of like, I almost made it.
And she looks at you and you see a flash of like anger, and then it just becomes relief and the tears flow down and she just kind of buries her head in your shoulder and neck. And it just hurts.
Which, yeah, exactly, like right in the ribs, like, oh. And I'm still like, he raises up one feeble arm and sort of
I think there's
her on the back.
guiding Thor. Please, his ribs are broken. Please.
And Zordon, it's then that, your armor, but you had taken your sword. And it is not there with you anymore. And in a kind of flash in your mind, you remember, as you were blacking out, it's slipping, tumbling, and landing point down on the threshold step of the Grail. We're gonna, I think, just kind of flash ourselves to Makareth, and then we will end. As a matter of fact, that might be worth a scene enough that maybe we should just go ahead and end. I will give a quick thing of, you will get to see her. We will make our way to the Hanging Gardens, being led there. Zordon, if you wish to go, you are ambulatory, but you are in pain. And so we will start off next scene with all of us in the Garden District at the very disconcerting Hanging Gardens with its criminals hung from the branches of the fruiting trees there. As you're standing in the grove, we will have Makareth show up at the beginning of next session. Sound good? We will also, she's going to put you on a mission. So we will be heading into a much more unit-based action sort of thing in our next one. I think I thought we did a lot of cool stuff this time around. I thought there were a lot of neat things, but we'll be a bit more action-oriented, kind of, we had an action-oriented last time. We had this one. We'll have an action-oriented the next one. And we're going to be doing a jailbreak next time. So, if we have a couple of seconds, why don't we do a little round of stars and wishes? Especially, I'd love to hear, we're getting into the meat of everything. Some wishes on like tension points you'd like to have, whether we want to do like politic tension points, or if we want to take direct action-y tension points, or if we'd rather have stuff we go and sneak to get a hold of, stuff like that. Things that really might interest you in taking on the Staries. I started at the front of the line to intro, so let's start at the back of the line. Lazar, why don't you give us some stars?
Sure, lots of stars this time to go around. First of all, I have to say that human mechanic guy, that was epic. Tyler, that voice was just epic. And of course, I love the scene with Gerald. That was also nice. And Aramit's like, yes, tell everybody what you like about them. Mm-hmm. You have 2 world-class liars in your club. You know that, right? So, well, one that's me. I'm just a writer.
3 world-class liars.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much, Sabine. Next is you, Jen, I believe. Yes. Jen, any stars?
Oh, well, let's see. Stars for Zordon, putting it all on the line. Just, he was all in. Oof, that was so tense. Other stars for sort of, checking in on Gerald and Vizar and seeing what they're doing. And just the delightful roughneckedness of the knights coming through. And yeah, absolutely, Black Tom just chewing the research-based scenery was quite fun.
Thank you very much. Next up is you, Rich, I believe. Yes.
Yeah. A lot of my first instincts, 4 stars, have already been said, so I will say that was really fun. Coming with Aramis coming back and Yvette waiting for him, it was just nice. The pair of touching scenes was pretty cool. And I also say, I have to go back and check because I can't remember who said that, but it was the person who said, hey, we should play out that nice thing. Who was that?
I think it was Sabine, wasn't it?
It was Sabine, yeah.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I think that led to a really worthwhile scene. Like the kind of thing that in media always makes my heart soar. So I like that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thank you very, very much. Alex, any stars?
For Aramit's pushing Gerald, and pushing the scene through Sabine pushing, suggesting. The absolute just kind of Arthurian epicness of Zordon descending into the river with the giant eel or serpent, and just that. Oh, I think it makes it so much better that he got just to the steps of the Grail. You have the blurry image of the guy in the bar and then blacked out. Like, I think that's more satisfying than if he just went in for the first time. Like, it just adds that. I really like the little Goliset Fedara stuff. And I was in the chat, I was joking that Gerald now has to kill him.
Yeah, I assumed that you had not gifted unto yourself having heard that.
Yeah, no.
No, yeah.
I heard it, and Gerald also wouldn't kill Goliset for that.
Oh, yay.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Jan, any stars?
So many. I really thoroughly enjoyed the respite scene. That was just wonderful on so many levels, like the lying and just like also Gerald just being like, what, I have to say something else. I don't know. It was Black Tom was indeed hilarious. But Tyler, thank you very much for checking in. If it was this is likely to kill your character. Are you sure you want to keep going? I'm like, yeah. And yeah, that was indeed, it's very satisfying. Like in what Alex just said, like it's a very satisfying way to not immediately complete the quest, and like Sorden is now going to be even more determined because it's like I was this close. He exists. He's right there. Yeah, it was.
Tell of the story at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Early wish, that drunken tale.
Awesome. And starts. Yep. Go ahead.
I want to watch Sorden parlay that story out into Free Bears because, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Has to be a scene.
And wishes from you, Jan.
I wish to play again, and I know I don't have anything that I can think of. Like, well, I would have. I had a lot of spotlight time, and I would like to see more of the rest as well next time.
All righty. Alex, wishes.
I'll bounce off Jan's, and yeah, I think I hope to facilitate some Fenara spotlight through it with whatever the thing that she was asking me about. So I hope. I'm hoping it's something to do with her, all that underhandedness in her business dealings or something.
Wishful thinking.
For Gerald himself, I do look forward to like some moving in. I've done like the low society of the Steries machinations. I want to jump into the high society of their machinations with my
Awesome.
sneakiness and maskedness.
Cool. Thank you very much. Rich, any wishes?
Zordon rejoining the group and us continuing on. The stuff that you kind of highlighted is coming our way. I wish that comes true. This was a really good, like a good downs session for most of the group. So no complaints, but wish of some action for the whole group and everybody together. I'm excited about that.
Awesome. Jen, wishes?
I definitely wish for Fenara to delve into some Stereo's machinations and start feeling out the network, the web of things that they are up to. I had some wild ideas during the session that I know I won't be able to act on for a long time, so I just gotta keep my mouth shut. And what else do I wish for? Yeah, that's basically all I could really ask for right now. Things are going quite well.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. And Sabine, any wishes?
I mean, I have lots of wishes, but this is mostly stuff that I want to be able to do. What I would wish for is to see these alternative facts have a little impact on the whole thing with the series. And also I would like to echo the wish that we go a bit into the high society and start mucking about there, because I mean, that is very, that election, exactly. And also, of course, I wish, because my father wanted to see me, and I wish to have that encounter.
Nice.
At one point, because I still have an alternative fact left.
Nice. Excellent. I'll say stars everywhere across the board. I really liked a ton of what we did. I thought that respite was amazing. I liked the Gerald and Vazar talking. I enjoyed Fenara and Gulset playing off of each other. I liked, I also liked, getting a chance to, when we were all together, look at those slivers and get a whole, these are terrible. Thought that was cool. And Yana, I appreciated your going whole hog in there. That was fantastic. I hate to feel like I'm ever railroading. So I wanted to make sure you had the chance to do, and potentially the dice could have saved you to there. But I'm sort of glad we didn't get you into the Grail the very first delve. I enjoyed our river bit. I thought that was just a lot of fun. I thought it was neat and scary and kind of cool. For Wishes, this mission we're going on, I think, is going to give us some action. And I agree. I want to see us with some of the kind of broader, the machinations you're doing and how they're affecting Steries and Spire. And so we may set up after our kind of actiony bit in the jailbreak, maybe doing a bit more of a talk on bigger actions that you're doing to affect Spire, so we could see some of those and maybe not have them be as granular as in all the group going on a mission, but having like each person saying, okay, I've been working on this. And okay, well, let's roll maybe the effect. Let's see how that's going and kind of start drawing in some of the big stuff in there. So maybe we'll look at that right after the jailbreak. Thank you all for playing. I had a blast, and I will turn it back over to you, Rich.
Thank you so much, Tyler, and thanks everybody for playing. For anybody watching, we appreciate you sticking out for 23 sessions, and hope to see you next week as we continue on. We'll stop the recording here.